Hey guys, in today's video we're going to be going over the main differences between the Shearwater Teric and the Garmin MK2i. Let's dive right in. Alright guys, first things first, we're going to talk about the screens. As you can see, the Shearwater Teric screen is a little more bright in here. That is primarily due to the Shearwater Teric's AMOLED display. I can turn on the light for the Garmin MK2i and it brightens it up a little bit, but it's still pretty dull, and it is set at 100% when I turn the light on. The Garmin MK2i has a MIP LCD screen, which is a memory in pixel LCD, and that gives it excellent sunlight visibility that you can see in all sun conditions, and that's kind of where the Teric doesn't do as well, but it's still in partial sun and no sun at all. It looks fantastic. Full sun, the Teric takes a hit. It's really hard to see what's going on the screen, but the Garmin MK2i really does stand out in sunlight. It looks incredible. So both of these dive computers do have sapphire crystal displays on them, so you get excellent scratch resistance. The Shearwater Teric's is 1.39 inches and the Garmin MK2i's is 1.4 inches, so roughly the same thing. So the Teric itself has an excellent build quality. It's a stainless steel body. It's a stretchy silicone strap, so it's very comfortable. The back of this part is plastic. Also the buttons right here, which it has four. All four buttons are kind of clicky, and I do like that. They're hard to push and they're a little clicky. I do like this aspect of the Teric. Alright, so let's talk about the Garmin MK2i. So basically the body of this watch is what's called DLC, so it's a diamond-like carbon coating. It also has titanium in the mix. As you can see, the color differences on the watch on the top of it. The side buttons are not like the Teric. They're a little more spongy feeling, and they don't really click. They're just spongy until they get clicked in, but there is a little haptic feedback on the buttons when you push it. So I do like that. I like that I actually know I'm pushing the button with that haptic feedback. Versus the Teric where it is a clicky button. But like I said, I do like the clicky buttons over the haptic feedback. Now the back of this, it is a stainless steel back, so it does feel really nice on your wrist. This one comes in a little bit less weight than the Teric. It's not as heavy, but overall when you pull this thing out of the box, even though the components are better mixed with titanium and stainless steel, it left me with a plasticky feel to it, and that's just personal preference. That's just my own opinion, what I thought. And it is kind of plastic on the sides right here, also a stretchy strap, but it leaves me with that overall plasticky feel. So now we're going to talk about what's included when you actually get the two watches. So basically, if you get the bundles, both of them are going to have the transmitters included. You have the watch, and then when you get the Teric, you get this really nice kind of ballistic case that it comes in. Protective case. You can store the watch in here when it's not being used, and it's a really nice case. It's kind of like a nylon with a really heavy duty inside, and the zipper comes with the USB cable, screen protector, all the startup guides, and it also comes with the strap to extend if you wear a dry suit. So I do like what it comes with, and the transmitter also comes with its own little ballistic nylon case. Now the MK2i does not come with anything. It roughly comes with this extra strap and the proprietary charging cable, which I'll get into in a little bit, but that's really it. When I'm not using the MK2i, I kind of have to find somewhere to put it where my kids or my dog is not going to get to it, and that's kind of a problem. I wish they included some sort of protective case like they do with the Teric, and it's a really nice one at that, but I wish they actually gave you something like that with the MK2i. You know, dollar for dollar, it's more expensive than the Teric, so I do wish they included something like that. Alright, next we're going to talk about wireless charging with the Shearwater Teric. In the box actually comes this wireless charger. It's like a little docking station. So you just put that down, and the Teric just sits right in there. And once you plug it in, you'll see a little green light here on the bottom. And once it's plugged in, the screen will transition to like a landscape mode, and it'll flip everything over. Now I do like the charging on the Teric over the Garmin MK2i, which I'll discuss that in a second after I go over the charger for the MK2i. So on the MK2i, we basically have 4 contact points on the back, and here's the charger right here. Also those 4 contact points on the back. So what it does, basically find those contact points and you just connect them like this, and that charger just kind of sits on the watch like that. I do prefer the charging on the Teric over the Garmin MK2i from a user standpoint, just because it's more convenient. I think wireless charging is so readily available. They sell wireless chargers everywhere. You can make it really easy for yourself. In a previous video I posted, you can make your phone into a wireless charger. Those wireless charging pads, power banks, hooking up to a wireless charger. I think there's a lot more versatility with the wireless charging than there is with a proprietary charging cable that Garmin has here. Now, if you have other Garmin devices, if you have like the Phoenixes or the Forerunners or whichever Garmin device you have, this charging system is uniform throughout Garmin's devices. And I do like that it's been out for a while, it's readily available, and you can get an aftermarket charger just as easy as you can with a wireless charging pad. But I still prefer the wireless charging aspect over just using a proprietary charging cable. So now I'm going to talk about the apps to log your dives. So with Shearwater's, it's called Cloud, and with the MK2i's, it's called Garmin Dive. Shearwater Cloud, I've also posted a video about that. It's a great dive log app, but one thing I really like what Shearwater did, they actually made it a version on your desktop computer, so you can use it on a Mac computer or a Windows computer, which I do appreciate because you get a larger scale view of your dive. The MK2i's is only for your phone, so if you have an Apple phone or you have an Android phone, it works for that. And you can download the app readily available in the store. However, you don't get that large display like you do on your computer. I hope they do come out with a desktop version of that app, but they don't right now. But Shearwater's does have it. If you are not aware of that, you can download it for your Mac or your Windows computer, and it works fantastic. I love it. Teric's dive log app, Shearwater Cloud, you get all your necessary information. You can actually change the layout on there. It has clickable buttons that you can see which kind of gases you're doing on the graph and your depth. It's really a great experience. As much as I like the Shearwater Cloud, I like the Garmin Dive much better, and the reasons are more personal preference, but because this is a dive computer and it's a fitness tracker, it actually gives you some of that fitness information where the Teric kind of falls short a little bit. Now, throughout your dive, you actually get information on average heart rate and your max heart rate throughout the dive. But if you actually take in consideration the other information that you get, like air consumption, it actually tracks your air consumption with it, which I do like, because a lot of us, actively try to get better at air consumption while diving. And the number one other thing I like about Garmin Dive, it pinpoints your GPS location with coordinates when you go in the water. And I love that. I think that is so cool. That let's say you go to a brand new spot you've never been before and you're in dive mode and you're tracking that dive, it's going to actually pinpoint your GPS location on there right in the app and show you the coordinates. But it's so cool. I love that. It lets you track a dive spot you've never been before, so you always have it. So now we're going to talk about battery life on these two devices. On paper, it says you're going to get 30 hours of dive time with the Shearwater Teric and 50 hours of use in watch mode. With the Garmin MK2i, you're going to get 32 hours of dive time, and you're going to get 16 days in basically smartphone mode, where you can use this as a smartwatch or a fitness tracker. And that's GPS aside. That's not talking about activating GPS and using that. Garmin is easily the winner, and I'm going to talk about this during price. Outside of diving, I did not use the Teric only because it has a lack of features. Now with the MK2i, you can use this for smartphone function, and you can use it for fitness tracking, for diving, and there's a lot of different other applications you can use on the Garmin MK2i versus the Teric. The Teric is a great dedicated dive computer, and if you're free diving or whatever, or even if you're snorkeling, you can bring it with you, it doesn't matter, but it's a great companion in the water. But outside of the water, this is kind of where the Garmin MK2i steps in and says, hey, I can do a lot more than you. And you get your fitness tracking, you get your smartphone connectivity. So I think that's kind of a no-brainer for me why I went to the Garmin MK2i over the Teric, because it's not just gonna sit on my table and collect dust between dives. I live in Florida, so the weather is hit or miss. And this is just gonna sit around where I can still kind of use the MK2i for fitness stuff. All right, so you can see the drastic difference in size between the MK2i's transmitter and the Teric's transmitter. MK2i's transmitter, it does feel like more of a superior build quality versus the Teric's. Other transmitters work with the Teric, however, the MK2i uses their proprietary transmitter, the T1. This is basically only works with the MK2i. I'm going to talk about something that I noticed during my last dive. I got to around 1500 psi and I noticed an audible intermittent buzzing sound. It's kind of like a high-pitched buzz. That is a known issue with the MK2i transmitter because of their subwave technology. So it makes a really high-pitched chirping sound. Once it went off, that was enough for me because I heard it the rest of the dive. Now, Garmin's fix for this issue, which is a known issue on their website, you can look it up, and they say you can lower the power consumption from the manufacturer's settings in the transmitter to a lower setting. But I just wanted to touch on that issue. If any of you guys are having that same problem, I will leave a link in the description down below where you can see the question and answer page on Garmin's website for this issue. All right, so now we're going to talk about the most important thing, and that's price. So the Teric comes in at roughly $1,100 for just the watch itself, and for the transmitter it's $400, so it brings your grand total for the bundle at $1,500. The MK2i is $1,500 alone, just the watch itself. And I'm not going to talk about the MK2 or the MK2s because those don't have the same functionality as the Teric with the transmitter. So the MK2i is closely related because they are air integrated. So $1,500 buys you just the MK2i, where the Teric for $1,500 you actually get the full package with the watch and the transmitter. Now you spend a little bit extra and you get the transmitter itself. If you're buying them together, they cut you a little deal, and it's $350 for the transmitter and for the MK2i. So you're at $1,850 versus $1,500. Recapping everything, you do get an AMOLED display versus the MIP LCD. You do get that really nice crisp screen that you do on the Teric versus the MK2i, where you kind of get a screen that looks like it was on a smartphone from 2008 or 9 when they first started really releasing in the market. You know, kind of has that like cartoonish feel to it, but it's kind of dull. The screen brightness is not as good as the Teric, obviously you can see that, but for me, that amazing sunlight visibility, that really does stand out to me. Weight wise, you get a little bit less weight with the MK2i. Build quality, the components are better on the MK2i versus the Teric, but the Teric overall feels extremely solid. I'm not sure if it's because of the weight. It feels like a premium build quality on here. Charging and battery, so basically wireless charging versus Garmin's proprietary charging cable, and battery, you do get more battery on the Garmin MK2i. Shearwater Cloud versus Garmin Dive, I have to give it to Garmin on this one again because Garmin Dive does give you the GPS tracking location on their app. They give you a little bit of air consumption, and they give you the heart rate monitor throughout your dive. Functionality and user experience, I have to give it to Teric on this one. I think your overall user experience is much easier to navigate through the menus with Teric versus the MK2i. MK2i is a little daunting because there's a lot of different options on here. It could be overwhelming. If you're looking for a dive watch that you can fully customize, I would say the MK2i is one that has more customization features on it. And price, I really do have to say you get more bang for your buck with the MK2i versus the Teric. Although the price tag is much higher on the Garmin MK2i, you do get more features. It's a feature-rich dive computer. My final recommendation is going to be based on what you guys need the watch for. So if you need a great dedicated dive computer, I would say the Teric is for you. And you don't do anything with fitness, or you don't need a smartphone watch, the Teric is going to be your clear choice because it is a great dive computer and nothing else. Now the MK2i, if you do fitness tracking, if you're going to use it for your smartphone and everything else that it has available, GPS as well, the MK2i is a clear choice. This has more features than I will ever use, but I like that because it gives me an opportunity to kind of grow into the watch. This video is not sponsored by Garmin or Shearwater, but it is sponsored by IFOOTAGE, so let's hear a word about them. IFOOTAGE has you covered whether you're shooting in the studio or on location at the beach. They have a wide array of products for all your camera and video stabilization needs. You can click on any of the links down below leading right to their website or their products on Amazon. Make sure you guys check them out. Alright guys, so I really hope you enjoyed this video of a comparison of these two really great dive computers. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down below. I'm really good about answering everything. If you found this video useful, drop a like down below. I would appreciate it. And if you subscribe to the channel, I'll be releasing some videos in the future that you might get some use out of as well. I appreciate you guys stopping by, and I will see you on the next one.